Good afternoon, everybody, and I guess welcome to the closing run. Believe it or not, we have actually come to that. The closing run for the Jon-Snow-a-thon, our very first edition. We'll be talking all things Jon-Snow-a-thon. I'll be explaining the run as I go along, as always. I'm gonna have to check real quick if my life split will actually properly work, because, you know, I've had to mess with a lot of stuff to get everything to work the past few weeks. But we've come this far, so we might as well end on a high note, right? Okay. Yeah, okay. That should be good. Oh, there we go. So yeah, for those that don't know me, because I've seen a lot of new faces here this week, my name's Crrool. I actually run this channel, believe it or not. I run a variety of games. Evoland is just one of many. I do a bunch of casual stuff lately as well. And like I said, we'll be talking all things Jon-Snow-a-thon as we go along. But first, I'm going to explain to you guys what we're going to do here, what 100% is, and what this game is, because I can imagine that some of you might not know. It's Sleepy. Thank you very much for the 6-month resub. I don't actually have alerts on. I will be turning those on after we're done with the event again, so, you know, I feel that's fair, you know. If others can't have it, I shouldn't either. In any case, we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So Evoland is a bit of a unique game in one sense, and that is that as we go along, the way that this game works, instead of, you know, giving you the game and, you know, every chest that you pick up, you get items to make you stronger or to give you healing items or whatnot. With Evoland, that's a little bit different in that every chest I'll be picking up will advance the game rather than or it'll advance the world around us in the game rather than allowing us to build our character a bit more. Now for 100%, we're also going to be collecting every single chest, every single achievement, and then some. Which, likely that I'm going to be forgetting one, because as with anything in this marathon, I am not at all prepared for this. I haven't run this since last summer, so that'll be interesting. So yeah, next up we'll be coming over here where we're going to unlock monsters. We'll have music going for us soon, assuming we can manage to not die. Right now everything is a one-shot, so that's rather scary. Get ourselves save points. That's going to save our life a few times. Here we go. I believe there is one more chest over here somewhere. But let me first, there it is. Okay, yeah, let me first grab the save. And we're gonna get some color. Colors are nice, you know. I mean, we've gone through basically every kind of game here on the channel the past week. We've done oh, well, there's the first game over. Not that, like I said, those are not uncommon, and they will be happening more. Yes, this is Evoland 1. I also run Evoland 2, which is a lot more expanded, I'd say, than Evoland 1 is. But yeah, we will be, this is Evoland 1 in need. Oh, right here, story chest, by the way. Indy, thank you for the host. Oh, in my defense, Sander, I have barely run the entire event. Honestly, when I made the event, or rather when we announced that we'd do it, I half expected that in order to make it work, I'd have to basically be running the entire thing, just throughout the entire thing, otherwise it wouldn't be able to actually stay viable. I have been completely blown away by how many people have submitted, by how many... or what kind of variety of runs we've seen over the past few days. Because honestly, I was not expecting this much variety, this many fantastic runs, and not having to run myself for 9 hours, which was rather nice. Okay, last items here. We need to kill these 2 guards real quick to get rid of the boulder up there. get the inventory. We'll be using that inventory a lot for some glitches, but that'll be for later on. Now here I need to kill 4 enemies in total. It's random how many I get. Ideally I'd see an encounter with 3 slimes in it. Okay, we only got 1 here. That's, so this is pretty bad RNG. If I get a double encounter now, it's not terrible, but if we get another single, we basically got the worst possible RNG. There is a fair bit of RNG in the 100% run. There really isn't a whole lot in any percent, except for pretty much this part and maybe like 1 or 2 other parts. I need a 4th one still, otherwise I won't have enough money. Okay, at least it was a single. That's manageable, I guess. We're gonna get place names. Right, I need to activate these guys real quick. Okay. That's quite a difficult part out of the way. We're just gonna keep moving. We're gonna unlock every single chest. One of the things we need to do is just unlock every single chest. But I think as we're going through this town, because there really isn't too much in terms of story to talk about here, I guess I should explain real quick how this thing even came to be. And I know I've mentioned the story a few times over the course of the past week. I've explained a few times how we ended up doing something silly like this. Oh yeah, we're an adult now, by the way. That's a thing. But it was quite something, I'll say that much. So about, I want to say a month and a half, 2 months ago, it might be a little bit more. Probably is a little bit more, come to think of it. But there was this marathon, Anything is Possible, where, you know, the moment we saw it, we knew this was going to be a train wreck, you know? They had scheduled themselves at the same time as GDQ, the one that's happening, you know, in about 2 hours. There was just a lot of organizational stuff wrong, and at some point I was like, okay, you know what? I proposed to some of the people that I did that semi-jokingly, but that even completely without any preparation, or with barely any preparation at all, we could do a better marathon than that. Now, this marathon I'm talking about, it never actually happened. They got cancelled before it even began. But yeah, it was a train wreck and then some. So, you know, we kind of joked around with that for a little bit, being like, well, you know, we can do better even without prepping anything. And one thing kind of just led to another from there. We started discussing that a bit, and at some point at BSG, and for those that don't know me, I'm one of the organizers of the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering, an on-site event here in the Netherlands. But at some point, I think it was Rashla who kind of put that a step further, and was at some point we just, like, we had discussed it, we were kind of all in on it of, yeah, we could probably do that, but it was never really a plan. And then at some point recently, I think it was Rashla who threw up, you know, how about we actually do that? That's basically what it came down to. And at that point, you know, we kind of figured, okay, you know what? Screw it, why not? And, you know, here we are, a couple weeks later. We kind of set up the rules that we have. They kind of just naturally came to be, honestly. Like, most of the rules will speak for itself. You know, no prepping before 6 hours in advance, because otherwise, you know, we'd have a definition of when we'd actually get started on prepping, and that wasn't exactly the way we wanted to go. I'm gonna use another magic to actually stay safe here. This area can be quite dangerous if you're not careful and if you don't heal properly. Anyway, where was I? Oh wait, right. So we set the rule, you know, no prepping up to 6 hours in advance, obviously, because that way we'd actually have a standard to judge by. What do we define as almost no preparation? And we figured 6 hours would be a decent benchmark, you know? Enough to give us a shot of actually setting something up, of actually getting people in here. But not quite enough to properly get a marathon set up, you know? Because most marathons, you'll need at least a week or two. The second one was mostly because we figured, okay, you know what? How about we just take it to an extreme, and we actually do the runs without preparation either. You know, no prepping, or so only picking runners as the run before it has already begun, because that way you're kind of limiting yourself in your runners as well, and it'd also give it a pretty cool twist in a sense. Now the restreamer one just followed naturally from the runner one, although we didn't really have to we really didn't need much of that rule. It came into play a few times, but over the course of the thing, it was mostly just meant so that we couldn't actually schedule our restreamers in advance, because that'd kind of beat the point. And then, you know, the rules from there on out were basically just minor things to assure that we would be able to stick to it and that we'd actually have a plan. 15 minutes without breaks, because otherwise, you know, I could just put a half-an-hour break in there while we look for a runner. So, something to kind of help us along in that sense. And then the other one, what was it again? Oh, right, and the other one is just an end time, because we need to have something to go with. Yeah, that's about how this eventually came to be. And I was, on the note of no preparations up to 6 hours in advance, I was actually kind of strict with that, even in my own Discord, because I had announced it. We said, okay, the publicity part is fine, but I told everybody, if you want to help out, I don't want to hear it, not until 6 hours in advance. Oh, here, by the way, what has happened in the meantime is we've discovered a hidden meadow. That's just some bonus stuff for 100%. We've gone into the Crystal Caves, which is where the first big boss of the game is. And other than that, well, we've unlocked experience and whatnot, but we've not really done much by this point. I'm gonna heal and save there real quick just for safety. Oh, true. I very much knew some of the people were going to join me. I was kind of banking on that because, you know, if nobody would join me on this crazy plan, there wouldn't be anything. Like, we wouldn't be able to make it a thing if nobody was there. But, for all fairness, even though I knew certain people would be joining me either way, because I know my community well enough and I know the BSG community well enough, that was never a concern. I still told everybody I don't want to hear it, not until 6 hours in advance. And we've done our very best to keep all of the questions away and to keep anything that remotely came close to preparing, you know, kind of just away from the rest of it. Which worked, for the most of it. I think by that point, you know, 6 hours before the event, what I did is I went into a voice chat, basically, with the message of, you know, at exactly noon, I'm going to unlock this voice channel, and we're gonna get, or everybody that wants to join in can join in at that point. Oh, this is the first boss of the game, by the way. This is Kefka's Ghost. Quick reference to Final Fantasy VI here. But yeah, the moment I unlocked it, I think 6 or 7 people joined pretty much instantly. Like, there wasn't even ever any debate. Basically, as soon as it was As it was like, okay, we're gonna do this. So many people just joined in, and so many people immediately started helping out. We got the overlays as an adjustment from a very old marathon way back. We copied those and then adjusted them and modified them a bit, and we had to make some of them completely new, but for the most of it that worked. We're almost done with his boss, by the way. Kefka's Ghost shouldn't have a lot of health left. Shoutouts, by the way, to Mr. Mean Mustache. He was our Super Mario 64 runner the other day, but he worked on the overlays. We set up a Discord, started inviting people, and then it just blew up right there. Yeah, within like minutes we had a Discord going, but from there on out it just completely blew up. Also, this is where we're going to up the music a bit. We're going to actually get hearts so that I don't die so easily, and we're going to be moving on. That's basically what we did, Magic. That is basically what we did. We got a picture of Jon Snow and we slapped it on there. Although I will say, it took us a few minutes before we had a name, but then somebody made the reference of like, we know nothing in terms of what's going to happen, and that kind of just led to Jon Snow. Yeah, day one, it just completely blew up. I was honestly amazed at how fast that went. In a good way. I'm very grateful for how well things have gone. I remember Swansake when I made the post of it in the Final Fantasy Discord, because one of the things I run quite a lot is Final Fantasy, that he called it dead within 3 runs. And at that point, I wouldn't have been surprised if it was dead within 3 runs. But to still be here 93.5 hours later, we've only dropped, by the way, like a couple thousand frames. It's been, like, stream has been surprisingly stable throughout. There isn't anything down here, is there? No. Okay, I just needed to be sure. Oh yeah, we got a lot of memes going at the start, which is why basically everybody that has been involved in the organizing, or at least almost everybody, has some weird meme nickname in the Discord. So that was a lot of fun as well. And it just grew. And right off the bat, we had like 5 or 6 submissions for the opening run. A few of them we didn't ever actually get to see. There were a few I really would have liked to see. GTA is a good example of it. That was one I would have very much enjoyed to see, but we just didn't get it in anyway. Okay, I need to avoid that chest. That's a very important chest to avoid. That loses minutes if I pick it up now. That I can, Purple. First of all, I'd recommend typing !rules. That'll give you a half-decent idea. But basically, we didn't do any preparation for this marathon. And about 99.5 hours ago, this marathon just didn't even exist yet. Now, throughout the entire event, we've been picking every single run on the fly. We didn't have a schedule. We never had a schedule. We've pretty much never scheduled beyond the next run. We've gotten close to doing that a few times, where we were making predictions and whatnot, but we've kind of always kept ourselves in line and that wouldn't happen. And quite successfully at that, by the way. Like, really, because for the most of it, at points, people were like, we should kind of do this because otherwise that might become a problem. And every single time, there was at least one person that was like, but that would be against the rules. We shouldn't be doing that. I almost went the wrong way myself at some point. I think we've all done it, at least at some point. And, you know, we kind of always pushed ourselves back in line and stuck to what we knew was the right thing to do. So we're out of the forest. That forest, by the way, was where we started the game, but now in 3D mode, because we're now full-on 3D Zelda. We're going to do a lot of RPG elements. This dungeon is probably one of the most technical in there, and the hardest boss in the game is actually in this dungeon. Simple reason being that the hardest boss in the game, or at least in this one, is... It's actually a boss that's not normally difficult, but we have to do him without taking damage. And I haven't practiced that in 6 months. Well, not 6 months, probably more like 5, but 4 to 5 months. Oh crap, I messed up there. There's a cool little glitch that you can do, but I missed it. Yeah, that is, I guess kind of how this thing came to be, how we ended up keeping it up, because I am, like I said, I am still very much surprised that we've actually survived this thing, like that the marathon is alive up until the very last run. I mean, the GDQ opening starts officially in just over 2 hours, and I mean, we'll have about 10 minutes to fill for the end for closing statements. I'm actually, for the other organizers, or I guess by this point I can call quite a few people partly organizers, I do want to ask you guys to hop into the stream voice call by the end of it. I'm going to try to get all of you guys on stream. You know, just as a big finale, so to speak. But yeah, I think we've seen a lot of unexpected things happen as well. I mean, there's been a lot of runs that I never really expected we would get. I'm surprised we managed to survive a 7-minute run. That was probably the point that I was pretty scary. Because I first of all, like, we had Rashla on restreaming, and it was one of his first restreams, I think. I think it was his second or third one. So I asked him beforehand whether whether he was up for doing it, even with that short a time span for setting it up. He's like, yeah, it's no big deal, and he ended up being very correct in that. But I think probably the scariest moment of all is the moment we needed to do a full PC reboot. Now, I checked beforehand, and it didn't tell me there were updates. There were. It closed down the way I kind of expected it to. And then after it closed down, it starts rebooting, and it just starts showing installing updates. I'm like, God, no. This was 1 a.m. in the morning. I was half asleep as I was doing that, you know, sitting here in my pajamas, basically. As I was trying to Come on, can you give me decent RNG here? Okay. But luckily the updates were rather small, so within, like, I think within a minute or 3 to 4 minutes we had it back up. During the run after, I was still setting up things to kind of make that work. That was probably one of the most scary moments in the entire thon. Yeah, 3 minutes for the full reboot. Luckily, my PC is pretty decent. So, you know, the PC handled it quite well. I was actually somewhat surprised to see my PC being able to pretty much handle... I mean, what has it been by now? 93.5 hours of restreaming? Plus an hour beforehand? Because, mind you, there is an hour stream time, at least, before that even. We've had to reboot once, but that really was just about it. Okay, we're skipping a few items here, by the way, because we still need to get back here later. Like, we have to do this dungeon twice. So some of this stuff we're just gonna pick up in a little bit when we're here for the second time. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Made it to the chest. This is actually kind of scary. Because I'm gonna do a damage boost here to get me back to the start, but that puts me on a quarter life. I have to be very careful here. Okay, we made it through that. We're not done yet. I still need to grab 2 chests. But I can break a pot to get a little bit of extra life now. So it's about that key, but it's about 1 other chest. And normally, this is where I would do a death warp in any percent. But there is another chest, and I kind of need to break a few pots as well. So that's star. Now we're just going to try to break as many pots as possible before we die. That's because we need to break a certain... Okay, that's fine. We broke 1 at least. We need to break a certain amount by the end of the run. I might have to get a few more near the end, but this should be fine. The thing is, that door stays there, even if you didn't get there. Yo, nice, Karoth. Nice. Good luck on learning that. Okay, I'm gonna focus for a bit here, because this is the hardest boss fight in the game. 6 hits, and I can't... or I have to finish the fight at full health. Now, he can do 3 things. He can do a charge attack, which is ideally what we want him to do. He can shoot fireballs, which is pretty okay most of the time. And he can spawn bats, and the bats are the scary part here. I'm too close to him. I was too close after that charge attack. I would have... Ah, crap. Okay. Now, there is one upside about these bats. If they drop a heart piece, I can kind of mitigate taking damage. But I now need him to spawn bats so I can get a heart. Can you spawn bats? Okay, thank you. Crap, now I need 2 heart pieces. This is actually... Okay, I might have to reset the fight now. Okay, we're resetting the fight. Surprisingly common theme there, by the way. You can redo the fight in case you fail, but we still have to beat him without taking damage at some point. So I'd like to do it just now. Get it out of the way. This is what kind of part of why I upped the estimate a bit. Generally, I have my estimate around the 2 hours, but I knew this kind of stuff was going to happen. But it's just been too long since I've had a chance to practice this fight. I didn't want to risk it. Oh, that's a lot of bats. That's a lot of bats right there. Oh crap, he didn't hit the wall. One of the bats down. Okay, one more. Okay, second try on this fight is not actually that bad. It was all for that dodgeball achievement. That's the one we needed. So I'm going to do a skip here. I'm going to grab the chest and then immediately cancel out of the menu and start moving. That skips a little bit of dialogue and it skips the picking up of the sword. Okay, time for one of the most important clips of the game. We actually don't want that chest yet. Okay, and on to town. So this is where we're going to get a few minutes of just exposition, dialogue, story, that sort of stuff. Yeah, by picking up the sword in that way, we actually glitch his animation for now, but that'll fix itself. Don't worry, the animation will fix itself in like a minute or so. So we meet Sid here. Basically, the way the story goes is there's been this evil casting a shadow over town. He's hiding in a tower in the neighborhood. The thing is, the only way to get there is by getting 2 pieces of an amulet. Yeah, we skipped the random... That chest we skipped was the random encounter chest. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the random encounters so much. We're gonna unlock a few people here. The loading times, or the loading screen, by the way, between every transition, we're going to fix that once we get fast disk speed. But we can't do that until we actually have money, which I won't have for a little while longer. And now to the other end. Basically, there's been some rumor about bombs and whatnot. We need to kind of figure out what's really going on and what's the cause. Well, some of them, I think, talk about a dragon. And then later on, you know, or it turns out that it's just about bombs. Pretty much, Super Retro. That is pretty much what this game does. It goes through various stages of classic RPGs. On top of that, what it also does is, like Evoland 2 goes through all genres in general. Yo, Feke. We're 93 hours and 40 minutes in. We have about a little under 2 left. Yeah, the second one explores genres, Nick. The first one is really RPG based. The second one goes across pretty much every single genre in existence. Evoland 1 isn't all that long. Even for 100%, it's not all that long. Evoland 2, however, is a really expansive game. Like, it's really big. I think even any percent of Evoland 2 is like 5 hours, basically. And that's any percent. 100% is closer to 9, even on a speedrun setting. Okay, so the next part is kind of tricky. I need to hit a bat with a bomb. And we got him. 95.5. That's the goal time. That'll be the opening of AGDQ. We're aiming to make it to the opening of AGDQ. Yeah, this run will pretty much get us there. After that, it's literally just afterthoughts, and then we're gonna throw it over to AGDQ. Okay, another tricky dungeon here. There's a lot of lava boosting here, which I'm pretty sure my buddy Indy will love himself a bit of. But we need to not make the lava boost until we know it's on, until after we get the bow. If we do it before that, we lose a lot of time. I don't know Three Wonders well enough, but I wouldn't be surprised. I will say, like, all of the genres are kind of tightly knit together. Like, it's basically just an overhauling story where every genre is implemented in one way or another. No, Nepu had to drop out of running at AGDQ. Crap. Okay. And we'll just do it like that. Right, bomb. Need to remember how all of these worked again. We grab Kefka's ghost card. And that'll get us access to this chest over here. All of these chests we don't collect in any percent. This is all 100% stuff. There's a total of 30 stars and 23 cards in the game. We need to collect every single one of them in order to get some achievements. Now there is a category, it's not an official category, but there is a category for all stars, all cards. I don't even know what the record is at the moment. It's quite a bit faster than 100%. But not a lot of people, I think only one person has ever run it, and there is no official leaderboards for it. Okay, so we're about to go grab our first piece of the amulet, which is just around the corner. But first, I need to kind of puzzle my way through a little bit of a sequence here. But we're gonna actually skip a big chunk of it. So the first part isn't all that difficult. We just finish it up like that, and transition. Second part, however, that one's kind of important. So there's a semi-pixel perfect trick here that I can do in order to basically skip a big chunk of this puzzle. Got it first try. If you're exactly on the correct X coordinate, you can just push yourself through like that. Wait, you're going to GDQ, Karoff? Nice. Okay, so there's the first half of the amulet. Now these skeletons are kind of a pain to work with normally, except when you have the bow and arrow. Once you have bow and arrow, they're pretty easy. Drop a bomb here to open up this hidden hallway. That pretty much finishes up this part of the dungeon. We don't ever want to go back into this dungeon, so I need to make sure that I actually have everything coming out of it. Okay, here I kind of need to pay attention. Okay, so that's a bit of a skip. That saves about 20 to 30 seconds. It'll allow me to go back here without actually having to walk back. Yeah, there's a mobile port for this one, Victorian. Well, to be fair, Plumber, that's kind of the nature of speedruns, isn't it? Generally, a runner will get through it quite a bit faster. Also, we skipped a lot so far. We've not actually gotten nearly everything yet. Although I will say, most of what we're going to grab we'll do after we are done with, or after we get the airship, pretty much. That's when the real stuff is going to happen. Very likely, Nick. Very likely I'm going to miss something at some point, because of which I won't actually have the 100%. We'll see whether that happens or not. Okay, so all that was in order to get this card, Kairos. Okay, if you just got the bow, you're in this area. And you're pretty close to where I am. This way. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're going to move on to the other side. And we're actually going to... Well, we're going to first go through it, and I'll explain a little bit about what's going on. And then we've actually got a bit of a grinding segment, which will give me a good chance to talk anything Jon-Snow-a-thon. Talk about some of the cool runs we've seen, some of the highlights, some of the amazing people, honestly amazing people that have been able to... or that I've worked with the past few days in order to get this done. Because honestly, we wouldn't be here without them. But first, we're going to go into the next dungeon, and I'm not all that keen on getting levels. That's not all that important for me. The thing that's important for me is that over the course of this thing, I need to gather 50,000 gil. That's actually a very important requirement. We will not get 100% without that. Now, the thing is, 50,000 gil is quite a lot, and there aren't really all that many good places to grind that. So we're going to try grinding that around here. I picked the girl, because the girl has an attack all around her, which makes her slightly better. Also, there are certain artifacts that we need to get, and this always kind of scares me, because I always miss at least something. Or at least it always feels like that. Yeah, we're gonna go into full-on Diablo here. There's some pretty good ones here. There's some very normal sounding items like the Ring of Fire that we just picked up. Although, now that I say it out loud, you know... Yeah, there's some pretty crazy items down here. Oh, you beat the boss in this one already? Then you're still slightly ahead of me. There is a save point near the end of the dungeon, Nick. So, I don't know what you're talking about, but there is a save point. I'll show it towards the end. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of those mages first, because they're probably the most scary ones. Now we're aiming for a few achievements. One of them is killing 100 of these skeletons, and these all count towards the total count, so that's rather useful. Belt of Legend. Hey, you must have missed it, because there is a save point near the end of the dungeon. This game isn't that mean. Stonebreaker. I'll show you a few times, Carol. This part, honestly, once you kind of figure out how to work around it, this part isn't all that difficult. I will say, I've died to the boss here a few times, but Once I figured out how it works, it's not that bad. We're just gonna grab every chest again, just part of the 100% requirement. Now, normally in any percent, I'd actually mostly be glitching through this dungeon. We wouldn't actually be fighting anything. I just walk past every enemy, and then take a heal and a save at the end through a glitch. However, you know, because we need the money anyway, because we need to get all of the chests anyway, it's just easier to do it like this. Also, because of how many cards I currently have, I can't even do the glitch to begin with. You have to be champion level. You gotta ask M3, Nick, I don't know. Yeah, you actually have to beat every difficulty of the card game at least once. That'll be one of the requirements later. Now we're gonna get kill streaks. This chest doesn't actually... A lot of these chests don't actually do anything. They mostly are just there for show. So here I'm gonna just try and get everybody in such a way that I'm surrounded, because that means I can attack in every direction. Okay, so here, this part is actually rather difficult, mostly because of those mages. I'm gonna just tank behind this tombstone to not get hit by those fireballs, because fireballs deal a lot of damage. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to get out, and we're killing the mages. Skeletons I never really have to worry about, as long as I just can I can make sure that I don't have those fireballs in my face here. Angel. Okay, I'm gonna have these two, or these three chase me down, make sure I killed everything here. A lot of these enemies we're not going to kill on the second time around and beyond that. But I'm killing everything on the first time around just so that I can get all of the artifacts, because I do need pretty much all of those. I have lost 100% runs to not getting one before. How are we doing on those anyway? Okay, pretty good, pretty good. So again, we're gonna make sure we're surrounded, because that means we can attack it on all sides. That's just the fastest way to kill them. That's generally a very common theme in this run. Just get yourself surrounded so we can attack in every direction. As for that save point, by the way, it's over here. Okay, 2 more sets left. Now, in current world record, there actually was a glitch that occurred, and I still don't know how it happened. It cost a lot more enemies to spawn here, which actually sped up the grinding a little bit. Didn't really save that much, but... okay, 2 items left. So now on to the boss. So because there's 2 artifacts left, I kind of have to be careful during this fight. Again, fireballs are the scary things. We don't want to see fireballs. Okay, feel free to spawn some bats, Mr. Undead King. He is not giving me bats here. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna kill him. That should be fine. We killed every bat at least. I don't think I got an artifact out of it. Do I still need 2? Yeah, okay, I still need 2. We get the second part of the amulet, and we're going to use the town portal to get back. Okay, what's my money at? 11k. In that case, we buy the fast DVD player, silver armor, and a ton of potions. So yeah, with that said, it's time for us to move back to the same dungeon, and we're going to just complete it a bunch of times until we have about 30,000 gold in our inventory. A little bit more, fine. A little bit less is fine. But about 30,000 is what we're aiming for. So with that said, what do you guys like this week? What was your favorite run of the week? I'm kind of curious to see what runs people have liked to see. Because there have been a lot of really cool runs this week. I can't deny that. That's a really bad first set. I know the feel, Plumber. Earthbound is definitely high on my list as well. When Ukos, I remember when Ukos submitted Earthbound, everybody in the run selection group was like, my god, that run, we need that. That was a good submission right there. And Uko is a really, really skilled Earthbound runner as well, which made it even better. It's also the longest run of the event. So that was something. I gotta say, I think one of the runs that I probably enjoyed watching the most was Zelda 2. Cross Product had so little prepared for it, yet it was just a blast to watch. I think that's very high on my list as well. Although, like I said, I've seen a lot of good runs. It's hard to make a pick, just in general. That Zelda 2 run, definitely high on my list. And DuckTales was neat as well, absolutely. I didn't really get to catch a whole lot of DuckTales. I was restreaming that, but I was mostly busy getting the next runner ready because of how short that run is. So I didn't really get to watch a whole lot of that, which was a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, I think both of Cross Product's runs were just a lot of fun to watch. Can highly recommend both of those. Now another one that I really enjoy watching, because I haven't actually seen the run yet, believe it or not, is Space Megaforce. I woke up to that at some points. I've only caught the end of it, but that was a fun one as well. Yeah, regarding the VODs, pretty much everything up to the run before this has currently been highlighted and can be found in the VODs. Now we're going to do something very special with that, because we'll actually be uploading all of the VODs, one per day, to YouTube. So every day, in case you like unprepared runs and you like cool speed games, I'll probably do an announcement on that after we're done here. I'm not entirely sure if I'll upload during GDQ, but the plan is to upload one run per day to YouTube. I didn't get either artifact. I might not be able to get the artifacts. If we don't get the artifacts during the grind, then 100% is probably dead. These artifacts are really finicky at times. The Super Mario World run was fantastic. Like, I remember I actually fell asleep to the run, not gonna lie, but mostly just because it was very late. It was a really fun run to watch. I remember really enjoying the first half. That's the thing with me and Super Mario World. Like, I think I've never caught a full run of like 96 exits or something close to it. Actually, I think I might know which artifacts I've missed. There's one area I haven't been to. Yeah, the Super... unfortunately, I was asleep for the Super Metroid randomizer race. So I hope either of these is going to give me an artifact. Probably not. They are just about the only encounters I don't think I've ever killed yet. Okay, we might be going for 99.1%. If so, that's because these artifacts are weird and I still don't understand how they work. I do hope they'll still drop, but I'm getting somewhat nervous that they might not. That wouldn't be the first time a run would have died to that. The VODs are currently all highlighted, Magic, save for the last two runs, so this one and the one before this. And all of them will be uploaded to YouTube as well, one run per day. I'll make a bit of a bigger announcement about that later. We're doing that one at a time, you know, to not completely kill everybody's subscriber list thingies. Heck, I don't know what it's called. I'm really bad with words, as you can tell. But the plan is to upload all of them to YouTube, one per day. Okay, so the 20,000 gil achievement means we're about halfway done with the grind here. Probably to my own YouTube channel. Same with the so that, you know, it stays consistent between here and YouTube. But I'll make an announcement for that in the Discord. No worries, no worries. Yeah, I'll probably throw them towards my YouTube channel. But like I said, I'll make an announcement about that in Discord so that, you know, everybody actually knows what's going on and what to expect. But I figured it'd be neat to do that. Yeah, it's definitely looking like we might not be getting our remaining 2 artifacts. Usually you'd have them by this point. That's kind of unfortunate. We're gonna just keep going if we don't get them. Like, it's not the first time the game glitches out in such a way that you can't get every artifact. And I still haven't found the cause of it. It might be because we killed the boss too quickly. That's at least a theory I've had. But I've never been able to confirm that theory. So if we don't get them, that's still if we don't get them. I mean, we might. We might be looking at potentially 99%. So we're just gonna pretend that we have them and pretend that it's 100% anyway. Unlikely, no. It wouldn't be the first time I've had 99%. That goes for both Evolands. I have had runs die that I thought were PB, and then you come to the end, and it turns out it's 99%, because you've missed one silly little thing. I remember this one time I did an Evoland 200% run, which, by the way, is like 8 hours. It's a pretty... 8 to 9 hours. It's a pretty long run. I had barely missed PBs because I died on the final boss, so I was kind of salty, and then when I saw the stats screen, it was 99%. Reason being that I forgot the very last chest in the game. It was really silly. In hindsight, it's kind of funny, but it's happened before. I should probably add, I think 2 days later, I massively PB'd, and it was actually 100%. So we kinda, it kind of ended up working out either way, but it was kind of silly. That circle attack, by the way, the fact that we can attack every enemy on every direction at once is why we're doing the grind now and why we're doing the grind with the girl. Later on, that won't be possible. I'd have to do the rest with the boy, and he can only ever attack in one direction. And after that, we broke RDV's stream. So for the longtime supporters of RDV, you might remember what day I'm talking about. That was a good day. We ended up raiding RDV, the Yoshi's Island runner from yesterday, and his stream just completely broke as a result. That was after a massive PB in the sequel of this one. 22 or 20. Just we might need to do 1 or 2 more rounds through this, and then we're done. I know, this is kind of the boring part, but we have to sit through this. The downside of 100%, it has this part. Because honestly, like, 100% shows a lot more of the game. I really enjoy 100% usually. It's just that the grinding part is kind of silly. $21. Yeah, I think, unless we get a really good round, I'm going to do 2 more rounds through that place. I am, in the meantime, going to buy the rare card. Yeah, it should only be a few more minutes and then we're done with the grind. I'm trying to think what other run, because we've had way more other runs than we've named so far that have been absolutely mind-blowing. I'm trying to think of which ones stood out in particular to me. We've had a lot of new runners. I think that's kind of cool as well. We got a lot of people in here that have never actually run in a marathon before. And then, you know, their very first marathon was a completely unprepared one. Because I think, Super Retro, that's one. Nick _, our opening runner, I think it was his first marathon, yeah. Magic, cool. See, this is what I mean. Like, a lot of people that have never even run in a marathon before, just getting together and doing something like this. It really, like, we kind of figured it'd be an interesting experiment, and it just turned out so much better than ever expected. People that have never run in a marathon before, where this was their first marathon. I think that's, you know, it's really cool. Just the fact that, you know, not only was it a completely impromptu marathon, just people actually running for their very first ever marathon run in something like this. I don't think you get to see that a whole lot. Because I know from experience that especially new marathon runners tend to prepare a lot for a run. Like a lot more than your average marathon runner, I think. I do need to kill these real quick. And we had a few AGDQ runners as well, yeah. I know the Skyrim runner, though he didn't successfully finish his run, he's running it, I believe, tomorrow at AGDQ. I also should say a shout out in that to our boy Future Force, who actually saved the marathon on Friday. I think that's the closest we've been to dying, probably. So the thing is, on Friday, we ran into the problem that we just didn't have submissions. The current run was ongoing. We had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We were, I think, about 20 minutes into the run, and we didn't have a run for after that yet. And then, pretty much last minute, Future Force came in. He had just woken up. Because he had set an alarm because he intended to study that day, and he did Final Fantasy X-2, which ended up being the savior of the marathon. Sorta, Feka. I think you doing a Skyrim speedrun with zero prep, I mean, if you know this, like, the thing is, okay, let me just say it like this. We've had one runner, Cross Product, who did a run of something that he's never done before. However, he knew the speedrun route for the most of it. He knew kind of what he had to do when. I figured he could go for it. So he gave us a 1 hour 20 estimate, which, you know, isn't all that bad for Zelda 2. So he definitely knew the game very well, and he knew how to get through it fast. But he did that run anyway, being completely unprepared for it, and it was a really fun run as well. He did really well on it. I can by this point, by the way, pretty much state for certain that we're not gonna 100% because 2 items are glitched out for some reason. Who knows? Who knows? The thing is, the week before SGDQ, I will likely not be off from work. So that'll be unlikely, but it might happen. I will say I am planning to do another one of these. I will not announce when, because that would give people time to prepare something, and that would be very much against the spirit of the event. But I am definitely planning to do this again. The when? We'll see. Same with the frequency in terms of how many times a year we're doing this. I don't think I'm going to judge for that until we're closer, No, actually, I don't think I'm going to announce that in general. It needs to at least look impromptu, right? This is our last round, and then we're actually going to continue the game. We almost have enough money. Actually, I think I technically would have enough money, but getting a little bit more isn't all that bad. A little bit less is more annoying. Nice, super. See, that's what I like to hear. Don't come prepared. That is the general rule of thumb. I do want to say, I think if we're doing this again, we're going to give us less than 6 hours preparation time. This time we had 6 hours. I'm very much considering, if a future event like this were to happen, to chip that down to 4. Just to keep things a little bit exciting. Like, we're gonna definitely make things more difficult at that point. Put a few extra challenges in there. One of those is that the hard cap for runs is probably gonna go down. I mean, the thing is, so before the event, I kind of figured we needed to make a hard cap, because otherwise I know what's gonna happen, and I'll end up running like 15 hours myself. That's not what we want to do here, because I can basically fill a marathon on my own if need be. I know enough runs by this point. But that's not what I wanted to go for. The hard cap is probably going to at least go down a couple of hours. I won't say by how much. I wouldn't even have decided yet. But I think we're definitely going to add a Rule 6 clause, which has a maximum amount a single runner can do. So, with the 2 amulet pieces in hand, we're actually going to get to the boss. This is Zephyros, the final boss of the game, in case you want to say it like that. Because he is actually the final boss of the game. We're not quite done, not by a long shot, but, you know, technically. But yeah, the hard cap was more so, like, initially it was more so meant to prevent me from running too much. Because I know how things are gonna go otherwise. This is not the final fight, no. This is most definitely not the final fight. He is just the final. Zephyros is the final boss, but this is not the last time we're gonna see him. Okay, no. Magic X Crystal. Potion on himself. $27. She should survive that. Okay. Okay. Bit too clutch to be to my liking, but that works. Okay, there we go. So that's phase 1. This fight is 2 phases. He's now going to prepare his strongest attack, a Kamehameha. Yo, role-playing. Welcome. So yeah, we intend to die there. All good, unless glad you liked it. So yeah, now that we've been quote-unquote defeated, he's going to kill off Kairos. And when I say he kills her off, I'm not joking. She's actually dead here. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye to her. All good, plumber. Good luck on the homework. Yeah, because she dies, we end up unlocking our true powers, and now we can summon Babamoot, and that gets us into the second part of the fight. Now, Babamoot does exactly the amount of damage that the enemy has left. That goes for random encounters as well. We can use it in battle to kill off every single random encounter instantly. The thing is, there is a couple minutes cooldown on it, so after I've used it, I need to wait a few minutes before I can use it again. So I have to be somewhat conservative with it. I'm going to use that to heal up here. Now, after we defeat Zephyros there, he flies off, and he's going towards the mana tree. Now, the problem... he's doing that to heal, but the problem is, we can't reach the mana tree. So what we're going to do is pretty simple. We're going to talk to Sid, and Sid is going to give us an airship. Everybody's all like, we're all doomed and it's over, but Sid is giving us that... everybody's all like, we're all doomed and it's over, but Sid is giving us that airship to give us one final shot at this guy, to get to the mana tree. And this is where 100% and any percent are going to greatly diverge. 100% would now fly, or any percent would now fly to the mana tree and be done. Yo, Rashla, thank you for all your hard work the past few days and for joining on, us in the marathon. Wouldn't have been here without you, and I greatly appreciate that. Okay, so first we're gonna go to some hidden places. This is the Forbidden Lake. And we actually have a few things we need to do here. First and foremost, I need to shoot one of these Octo Rocks with a fire arrow. That's actually very important. I'm gonna light up the torch over there. Destroy this bomb, back to the sword, and now over here to grab the chests real quick. There we go. So that's 20 of the 30 stars collected at this point. So here's a very important one. We blow up that rock, and then I have to shoot an arrow down. That's actually very important, otherwise I will have to redo this entire place. Oh, I should note, by the way, at this point I'm just doing everything off of memory. Normally I'd have a route with me, but I'm gonna try to wing it as best I can. You could say I wasn't really prepared for it. But that's kind of why I picked this run in particular. I figured I would not pick a run that I've practiced a lot lately, but go for something that I haven't actually done. At least not in a long time. That's the wrong way. Take it easy, Kiko. If you fall asleep, you know, so be it. And again, thank you greatly for all of your help the past couple of days. Because honestly, like, without people like you guys, we just wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have succeeded in this challenge. Okay, there's the chest. We're gonna cross this plate. Hopefully I got everything. Right, I need to hit the crystal. We're going to place the bomb there, and from this point onward, we've now passed that point of no return. I can't walk back even if I'd want to. Okay, so here I have to hit a couple fire arrows. Sounds like Mystic Quest, alright, to be honest. Mystic Quest is just always a painful game. We grab our star over here. That was wrong. Whoops. I need to hit that again, because I first need to pass this plate over here. Hit those, hit that. I'll place a bomb against the crystal here, walk to the other side, and from there on we should be able to move on. Now, had I not shot that fire arrow down earlier, I wouldn't have been able to get to this chest. I think that's all of the stars in this place. There is still a card left, though. Luckily, that one's not too far out of the way. The Zephyros card. Yeah, that should be it for this. 5 more cards, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, I think that's correct. I think at least in cards we still have everything, so that's nice. So next up, Babamoot Slayer. Or the Shrine of Babamoot. Another pretty difficult dungeon, actually. Definitely one of the more advanced dungeons in the game. There's a lot of little puzzles that we've seen in other dungeons earlier that they're just going to repeat here. But the main thing is we need to hit those switches, and there's several of them, in order to be able to move on. Now, one very important thing is I need to break as many of those pots as possible. Here we're gonna do something cool. See, I'm just gonna stand over here, place the bomb, go into the menu. Place the bomb, go into the menu. And place the bomb, go into the menu. That kills everything I needed to kill there. Okay, there's one more switch that we need to hit. This time we need to manage our way across this fire area. Those are always fun. Unfortunately, doing an actual lava boost here wouldn't be very beneficial. We wouldn't get very far through that. We're just gonna walk around. I'm not sure what this shrine references. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a direct reference to Final Fantasy IV. This game references a lot of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and Diablo and whatnot. So this room is just a whole lot of bats. There's more bats here than there are Zubats in Mount Moon, honestly. Now along the way, I'm going to break all of those pots again. And then there's a little bit of a tile puzzle that we need to do. This one isn't particularly difficult unless I get knocked off by the bat there. That has happened plenty of times before. Okay, so we'll get this one. Now I need to just break a few more pots. I need to actually try and break as many as possible, and I need to get my health down. I kind of did that wrong, didn't I? Okay, it's fine. I thought that'd work. Apparently it didn't. Wasn't expecting it to set me back to the start of the dungeon completely. Thought it would just set me back to the start of that room. No big deal. Let's move on. Okay, so this room is just crawling with monsters, and that's the entire idea. The only thing we need to grab is this chest. The Babamoot card. Now I just want a Death Warp. Here we go. That means we're done there. Next up, we're going to do the Noria Mines the second time around. This is just a cleanup, basically. We've now done all of the secret hidden areas. Or at least the complete dungeons that are hidden. So now we're going to do a cleanup of this one and the other dungeon. And we're going to do... we're going to get some of the other hidden items. We're going to get a health upgrade. And then there's just some hidden achievements here and there that we need to pick up. Once we're done with all of that, when we've actually collected every achievement, the last thing we're going to do before we're going to make our way to the end is do the card tournament. And that actually means that there's a very RNG heavy segment right at the end of the run. That's kind of one of the major downsides of this run. Here we're mostly just gonna walk our way through this. Not a whole lot to say about this place. If I see any pots along the way, I'll probably break them, because I don't actually have enough yet. It's a bit more damage than I would have liked, but sure. I don't need to do that. Yeah, I just need to keep an eye out for some pots. Okay, that was number 20. Good. Yeah, this gate is... Oh, crap. I was slightly off position. I was trying to glitch through that again. Getting stuck in here the second time is not as bad as the first time, luckily. We can just move on like that. But I was trying to skip that fight. It loses about 10 to 15 seconds not being able to skip it. First time around, the skeletons take 2 damage rather than 1, so it's worse if you don't get it the first time. Tatooine. So we actually need to fall through the 3rd of these gaps, but not yet. It'd be really bad if we do that now. We do want to do that, but not yet. That's crucially important for us to make sure that we don't do that too early. As soon as you fall down through it, you get sent back to just about the start of the dungeon somewhere, where there is a... I believe it's a star? It might be a card, but I think it's a star. First, we needed to get this one. Okay, so we now have every hidden star in the game, so it was a card then. Gotta watch my health here. I need a little bit of health going into this, because I will take damage. There we go. Not bad. 3 cards. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so there's 2 left in the first dungeon, Eden Vale, and then there is 1 in the shop. Okay, skeleton, can you kill me real quick? Just doing a quick death warp to get back to the start of the dungeon. So we're not immediately going to head into Eden Vale, but rather this is where I'm going to be activating the encounter chest. There is one specific encounter way back in the game that I really want to defeat first. But I'll do that after I've made a stop in this place. Unless we get it early, which it's not likely. Yeah, these encounters are painful. And they will get even more painful in a little bit. This is why we usually, or why it's usually so important to skip the encounter chest. Into the shop. I want to buy a rare card, the Emok. With that, we're gonna basically just walk around this area looking for a Chiboko. That one. Now the good thing is, Babamoot is charged up, so I can just use Babamoot to get rid of him. Chiboko Hunter achievement. We get an extra level up. Now the reason we needed to kill the Chiboko is for the Chiboko meat, which is going to give us a life up later. So these 2 cards that are left in this place weren't available in both of the times that we've been here before. The first time we just... Well, no, on both occasions, just because we didn't have the bombs, I guess. Guess that's really the only reason. We just didn't have the bombs. There's skeleton card. That should be every card. Now, in order to get the achievement for having every card, I need to actually show all of the cards to an NPC in that 3D town that we were at. Lastly, we're going to pick up this one, Camera Zoom. The Camera Zoom loses about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds every single time I pick up a chest, which is why it's just worthwhile to get it now. It's not far out of the way, and by this point there's only one Camera Zoom left, so we only ever lose 1.5 seconds to it, which we can't really avoid. It'd definitely be slower to come back for it even later. So our next stop is going to be the town here. Oh, guy, and this is where we're going to deliver the Chiboko meat and make it into a meal, and that's going to get us a health upgrade later. So she makes it into a meal. Now we need to trade that to a wandering traveler. Okay, this is actually good. We need to kill a total of 10 Atoweens over the course of the run. The Atoweens are those weird turtle guys that you see there. Unfortunately, this run is not very turtle friendly. No, I don't need that. We can just attack it. Okay, so that's the first Atoween. Yo, Dutch, thank you for the host. And welcome everybody from Dutch's channel to the closing run of a completely unprepared marathon that has somehow been running for almost 95 hours. We get ourselves the bonus heart. Another Atoween. Really good stuff here. Like I said, we need to kill 10 of those, so the fact that we're already on our second one is just really good. Nice, Indy. Let's go. We've officially made it. I guess that qualifies. The fact that GDQ just stopped their vodcast. Like, officially their announcements start in 45 minutes. I think we can consider this marathon quite the success. Yeah, for those that hadn't caught what happened with this marathon, this is a marathon we started with less than 6 hours of preparation, with no run scheduled in advance. In fact, no run to be picked before the run before it would start. And our plan was to make it to the opening of GDQ, and I think we can happily announce that we've made it. GDQ officially starts in just over 42.5 minutes. Quimito. Okay, so from here on out, what we need to do is we need to kill 8 more Atoweens. That's our first objective, killing 8 Atoweens. Once we've killed 8 of those, we have the card tournament and the final boss left. I think we've beaten everybody's expectations. I remember day one, and I've mentioned it, I think I've mentioned it before already, but I remember day one, Swansik making the prediction of dead within 3 runs. And just here we are after almost 95 hours and still running. Okay, 7 Atoweens left. This can take anywhere between like 5 to 10 minutes to like half an hour. Yeah, we've had over 60 runs. I think we ended on 62 or 63 runs in total, which is just mind-blowing. And I think only 2 have not finished. I mean, technically this one isn't going to finish at 100%, although it will finish as an any percent. Okay, so here we're going to use Babamoot. Yes, I'm not surprised that the numbers are slightly off. We'd have to do a proper count. 2 items glitched out, Kiara. I've had that happen at BSG once as well. This is actually the second time that happened in a marathon. But 2 of the artifacts glitched out and I can't seem to be able to get them anymore. Get another Atuin. And we've been getting pretty darn lucky with these Atuins. I should say before we go, before we can move on, I also need to still get the 50,000 gil achievement, but that shouldn't be too hard to achieve. Get that last one. Right now we're still on cooldown for Babamoot, otherwise I'd be using that. I always try to keep the Babamoot for encounters like this, where there's like 3 of them. So they're the slowest to kill. I will take great pleasure in that, Indy. I will take great pleasure in rubbing in his face that we actually made it to the end. 62? Okay. I'm not surprised if the count is slightly off, but over 60 either way. Which, you know, when you look at it, means that on average runs were only like an hour and a half to 2 hours, which isn't all that bad. Granted, we had a few really short ones and we had some longer ones, but that's pretty impressive. About an hour and a half on average. Hey, we didn't get an Atuin this time. Well, that's unfortunate. That just means we're gonna keep looking for encounters, though. Yeah, every time we get an encounter that is not an Atuin, we lose 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, sure thing, Indy. I'll take a look at it after we're done. Did you send it to Crrool bot, or did you send it to my actual account? Because on this PC, I only have the Crrool bot account. I'd actually have to log out otherwise. Yeah, like I said, we're going to be uploading them all to YouTube, 1 per day. So they're literally, and I'm probably going to start that after GDQ, but that means after GDQ is over, for the first 2 months, we'll be sending out a video on YouTube every single day with one of the VODs. I think it's probably best to start that after GDQ, come to think of it, but yeah, please send it to Crrool bot. That way I actually have it on this PC, otherwise I'd have to log out of Discord and log back in first. Nice. Yeah, I imagine a few might be uploaded to speedrun.com. I think there were a few PBs over the course of the event. Yes, you are, Plumber. You are. The cards is literally one of the last things we do. We're still killing Atuins, which I need 2 more of, I think? 2 or 3 more of. And then we're going to grind to 50,000 gil, and then we're going to do the card tournament. I think I'm not going to make a separate Jon-Snow-a-thon YouTube channel. I think for consistency's sake, I'm going to leave that to my YouTube channel as well, I think. That's probably just the easiest way to go with it, you know? Yeah, we'll see. I'll think about it. I still have a week to decide on how to do that if we're gonna start past GDQ. Mornings were definitely the scary part. I'll attest to that much. Yeah, reason I'm somewhat opposed to making a new Twitch channel on it is, in general, what you're gonna notice is with every new Twitch channel, you're gonna be very limited in your follower base, which I feel is not advantageous. That's why we ended up not going for a separate YouTube channel or a separate Twitch channel. For YouTube, I wouldn't care as much, but yeah, we've had a lot of international runners. We'll talk about it at some point, I guess. It's called Jon-Snow-a-thon because we know nothing. As in, we knew nothing of what was going to happen. And from there on, it kind of just led to the Jon Snow, as in the you-know-nothing reference to the series. Indie Plus. I think that there should be one more. Okay, so I'm going to take the airship. I'm going to land it about here, because I still need to kill an Atuin, and things can get quite dangerous from here on out. We're definitely not going to be able to do Babamwood again. I do hope I counted correctly and that this is the last one. Okay, that was number 10, so that's correct. And that was Hoarder. Okay. That changes everything. I need to get back to the airship now. So we hit 50,000 gil exactly as I killed the 10 Tatooine. I've never successfully done that. That's ideally what you aim for. If that happens, that means your money management was, like, spot on. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so all that's left is card game and the final boss. Now, the card game is yet another pretty RNG heavy segment. We need to win 4 times. Also, we're going to talk to this guy to confirm we have all of the cards. Now, easy isn't all that difficult. We start easy. I'm going to place that one. Now this is basically triple triad for those that haven't recognized it yet. I'm gonna place that in center. That's a hard to beat one for the PC, especially on easy difficulty. That works. Okay, so this is a guaranteed win here. On to the second one. It would be, but on average that'd also be slower. Collecting good cards, unfortunately, just takes a lot of time if you then have to go back for the weaker ones. It's doable route-wise, but on average it's slower. I don't have anything that can beat both, do I? I don't, so we're gonna go for that one then. At least secure the one in the top right corner. Okay, let's hope it's enough. It was. Okay, so that's medium. Now we're gonna head on to hard. This is where things get pretty RNG heavy. And I've got a really bad hand to start with. I can't even take that one without using my trump card. I think I've basically already lost. That would secure at least two more cards, maybe even an extra one. It's gonna be really close here. Yeah, I think that's the deciding factor there. Because I can't hold that card, so I'll have 4, he'll have 5. So that's our first loss. We had a really bad hand there. Now, every time I lose, we lose about a minute. Yeah, that's a much better hand. Because I don't have to use that one at all. And stay away from it. No big deal. Taking that one. He might try to go for center square. I don't know. He didn't. Good. That means I can probably get 2 cards at once. Actually, I can't get the bottom one with that. It's probably still the better play, though. one. That's guaranteed 6 cards, so that's a win. Oh god, this hand. Okay, we're gonna place that there. He was guaranteed to take that one, but I'm guaranteed to be able to take it back, even with a weak card. Yeah, I'm gonna take that one. At least it guarantees me the slime card. That's probably a bad play, but I was afraid of something like that. He'll get that, I'll get those two. That's not enough. Okay, he wins. That's unfortunate. Let's go. Just try champion again. This looks like a better draw initially, at least. I'll take that one like that. Got 2 bad cards, but I can probably make them work. I've also got Seed, which is like objectively the best card in the game. See what he does with that. Perfect. That allows me to play Seed. See what his last card is. Okay, that's a win. Cool. Okay, on to the final boss. That should be 99.1%. Because, like I said, one achievement glitched out on me. That was bound to happen. I kind of half expected an encounter. It's not going to be 100% Zeta. I'm missing an achievement because it glitched. That's a glitch that has happened before. I still don't know what causes it, but it's happened before. So yeah, this is Zephyros, the final boss of the game. Now this boss has 3 phases. In the first phase, we're going to try to beat his hands. Now each hand takes 10 hits. Now the way we beat up these hands is by if I stand next to the eye on the hand and I hold spacebar, I can actually deal 2 hits at once. Or 2 hits per time he smacks the hand down. And if I get very good luck, like that, I can even get a 3rd one off. Nice. That's 2 triples. That actually speeds it up. Okay, second phase. 2, 3, 4. We need to hit this orb 4 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, depending on where the orb ends, I might be able to sometimes hit it twice. I went the wrong way. I might not be able to make... Yeah. Sometimes you just can't make it. Okay, on to the last phase. This is still going to be surprisingly close to a sub 2. I wonder... Okay, this is actually not a bad time at all. Especially for how unprepared I was. Okay, so in the last phase, he can either shoot red orbs or blue orbs. 1. I need to hit 4 blue orbs back to him. 2. Three. Okay, time is coming up. This is a sub 2, not bad. So as I said, this will be 99.1%, at least if I did everything correctly. We'll know after the credit sequence. Then we'll do some closing announcements from there, because we are not quite done with the Jon-Snow-a-thon. Yeah, in the credit sequence here, we're gonna see, you know, basically the entire evolution over the course of the game again. In the meantime, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be joining the others in voice soon, at least I hope. Indy, I love that picture, dude. I will actually show that on screen. But I'll do that in a little bit. Okay, let me open up that picture so that I can copy it and make a window capture of it. What's the easiest way to do this? That, probably. Okay, let me... So Crrool is still deafened, so I won't be able to hear them yet, but I'm joined by InDragPack, Keto Fox, Nick_Zeta, and the plumber himself, although I think the plumber is muted, who I'll all add to the on-stream thing. Now let's first see our counter. What is our percentage here? 99.1. So except for the one that glitched out on me, we did actually get everything. Now let me open up that picture for you guys, and I'm gonna add the others to the voice call here. So this one was made by our good friend Indy. I am not surprised, but I love it. So we're gonna end with this one on stream, because why not? Change to that real quick. Yeah, the 99.1 is because of a glitched one. Okay, I'm gonna turn down the Evoland music a bit and unmute myself. Box of Snow, or Boxmeister, is also gonna be joining us in the voice call.
Not to work anymore?
Good afternoon, you guys.
Hello. Hello.
So, I guess it's time. We've somehow made it to the end.
Yes!
I gotta admit, I've been surprised that we made it this far. I don't think any of us would have expected that. So I gotta ask. I gotta ask.
If you give them a social challenge, they'll take it upon it. They'll take it all the way to the end.
So I gotta ask here, of all the runs that you guys have seen, what was your favorite? If you had to pick one.
Yeah, let me check the previous ones. That was
It have been a
ton.
You know, a ton of games. All were so good.
actually it's easy. Rayman 3.
Wow.
I never got to see that one because I was asleep. Because I fell asleep because it was like 3 in the morning by the time I got asleep.
I'd rather go for Zelda 2 in my case.
Okay, so we've got
But
Zelda 2.
I did set up the Halo 2 co-op run, and it was so much fun. I stayed up late for it.
The Halo co-op. Did I hear that correct?
Yes, Halo 2 co-op.
Okay.
It's hard to pick.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
Definitely was.
Honestly, from me, besides my own runs, obviously, the Digimon World 4 run was just genius. I was really glad that Fire
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. Especially the final boss, where you could just sit there and just wail on its underbelly.
Yeah, I'm torn between the Zelda 2 and the Pokemon Blue Catch them all.
Personally, I think I'm gonna stick with Earthbound.
A really good run as well.
That was cool.
Really
Yeah.
good
We
run.
had so many good runs.
There was a lot of good runs. There's a lot of good runs.
The fact that someone
We also avoided the giant 10-hour run that would have taken up like 10-12% of our run time.
Yeah, definitely. We managed to not need that somehow. And
I see a question from Retro Gamer. That's a good one.
I think we're the
What
best.
Runs
runs
that you've never seen before, do you think we're the best?
That's a
I
good
have to say it
question.
was the Raymond M race. That looked like a lot of fun to do. The Raymond M all races run, that was really fun to me.
For
'Cause
me,
I love racing games,
probably... I want to say Zelda 2, because I've never actually seen that one before. And if not for that, the Donkey Kong Country 2 run.
I gotta go with X2. Final Fantasy X2.
Well, I'm gonna go with Cow the Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really
Yeah,
fun
that was
as
good.
well,
That
yeah.
was good as
Yes.
That
well.
was just a
Honestly,
doggle.
I have never heard of the game, and at some point I just looked it up. I was like, it's a kangaroo, it's gonna be fun, and it turned out to be like a blast.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with that.
But yeah, I think with that, we're pretty much down to some closing statements. Now, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that participated in the event. There has been a lot of people, both runners, people that just submitted a game that we didn't even have time for to show. But there's a bunch of volunteers in particular that I want to mention.
Do it.
Actually, as I do, could one of you guys actually post the Twitch channels of all of those volunteers for me in the chat?
Sure, I'll go ahead.
So, first of all, I'm gonna go with a bunch of the restreamers whom without we wouldn't have been here today, because I can't do this for 95 hours straight. We definitely,
Not really, no.
we definitely needed some of those, and there have been a few that have done a lot of good this time. Zeta, who's taken over, especially during daytime a few times. We've got Nick underscore. I'm gonna go slowly so you can actually type them out.
You can actually just click his name. He's literally typing that out.
We've got Keto Fox, who, especially during the nighttime, has taken quite a few.
Is that the correct link?
Yes, I think so. Rashla,
That was the Night Watch.
we've got Shadow Frost,
Wait, has he gotten the name fully, just like that?
Yeah,
just Shadow Frost, yeah. The numbers
yeah,
have been
changed it.
removed. We've got, this is also another one that especially during the nighttime, Mighty Might.
Mighty Mouth, is it?
Yeah,
It's
MGH.
Mighty, I just...
I'll type
I
it
had
out
to
for you.
memorize it because I had to restream him.
MTH is an M, right? I think it's like that.
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
that's it.
Oh
right.
yeah. Okay.
So all of those, and I know I've missed a few of the restreamers, but those are a few
Box.
in particular. Oh, Boxmeister! I almost forget him again. We did some restreaming during the first night we did this.
yeah.
Yeah.
A
did
few
some good
others
stuff.
that Sans Skill, who briefly restreamed, I think during the fourth or third night.
Yeah, something like that. Like,
And I think Bruce has done some restreaming as well. I'm not sure about Broad, whether he got to restream. A lot of people that signed up for it that we didn't actually end up needing at the end of the day, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, there's a few others that in particular I want to point out. People that have made the VODs, because as we speak, pretty much every single one of the videos have already been highlighted. For that, Keto Fox, who was already been linked in the chat before, Nick underscore did a bunch of that. But I also want to thank Knight for that, who did the second half, or who highlighted the second half of the marathon, ensuring that everything.
They went through a huge VOD spree there.
Yeah, he did a lot of the VODs earlier today.
Yeah,
basically,
I tried getting some VODs done during that 3-hour RNG run, so I just tried my best to fit as much as I could into that run. I thought I got it pretty far. That guy did the whole other half, and that was really cool.
Yeah, so because of those people, we've gotten very far. And then there's another set of people that I want to thank, and that is those that were on the run selection team. It was not easy to pick runs, I can tell you that much. Most of them have already been named. Boxmeister has been named, Rashla, Sans, Keto, Nick, Mighty, Zeta. We're all involved in that as well. But on top of that, the plumber himself, who came in late on a couple of the votes, but definitely played a big role as well. And in Dragpack, who definitely played his part.
Right now, as the beautiful Snow White.
Yeah, in Dragpack on the screen with his famous Indra Indie OP here.
Amazing emote.
Fantastic emote.
Yes.
And of course,
that reminds me of the multiple times Super Tuxcar came second in votes.
And don't forget the one with no sanity left now. The one and the only Darkuko.
oh right, Darkako, who played a very big part as well. I'd almost be ashamed to admit that I almost forgot about Kako, who did a lot during this marathon as well. So Darkako, definitely another one of the people that have helped a lot with the votes. Other than that, I'm only left to thank all of the people that have hosted, all of the people that have run, all of the people that have submitted, all of the viewers at home, of course, for making this event tremendously successful.
Yeah, Box is really helpful in showing people how to do restreaming as well, if I remember.
Thanks.
Well, stick in the team. This might happen again in the future. We don't know.
Yeah. What we're probably going to be doing is that the Discord, as it is, will probably go into a deep slumber for now. Now, of course, an unprepared marathon wouldn't be an unprepared marathon if we wouldn't have to be making a new Discord. So that'll be one of the places where we'll announce a next one when it happens, if it happens. I'll also make sure that all of the VODs, as I mentioned a few times over the course of the run, will be uploaded to YouTube one per day after GDQ has ended. We're not going to do that during GDQ. And with that, I think I'm left to send you guys over to twitch.tv.
Wait. There is one person left here we still need to thank. And who is kind of modest here. The person who kindly supplied us with the restreaming PC with access with giving the restreamers all access to his own PC for the past 4 days. So main organizer for this event, the one and only insane madman Crrool himself.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
I would totally clap.
This is all good. This is all a good game.
Well, thank you, Box. And I think with that, I'm going to send you guys over for another fantastic marathon. They're going to be doing runs for, 7 days straight or something? 8 days? Heck, I don't even know.
That's 7.
Yeah.
It's
the most interesting
a couple hours of fun we like to do at the end.
The most interesting thing about AGDQ is they have a schedule.
Yeah, they have a schedule, I know, right?
Disgusting.
Yeah, I'll be sending you guys over to Awesome Games Done Quick 2018. Thank you guys all very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And hopefully we'll be able to see everybody back for a future edition of the Unprepared Marathon, also known as Jon-Snow-a-thon.
Next time it will be a Jon-Snow-a-thon.
Because we don't know. We don't plan that.
We don't know.
Indy, get out.